today marks the 20th anniversary of the release date for the original Xbox, and that means we've also had 20 years worth of NHL games on Xbox. So as you can see here, I've tried to gather up as many NHL games that I currently own for all of the Xbox consoles. But for this video, I think we're going to focus on the first 2 NHL games that ever came out on the Xbox. And to keep it authentic, I'm going to try and use the controller that first came out for the original Xbox, not the Controller S, but instead the Duke controller. So this Xbox here was actually made in October 2001, right before the official release date. And we'll just kind of move over to the Xboxes that we're seeing in the background here, and more kicking around, and an original box. This is my own personal way of celebrating 20 years of Xbox. And we will quickly watch the boot up screen for the original Xbox. And look at that, 11/15/01, the original release date. By default, this screen always shows up when the Xbox needs a clock reset. It's strange seeing the screen 20 years after the release of the original Xbox. This video is definitely making me feel old. And I have one more Xbox console to show you, and this is my personal one that I have been using, that I've modded and everything. And this will be the one that I will be playing NHL Hits 2002 and NHL 2002. So, the very first NHL game that was ever released on the original Xbox was NHL Hits 2002. And this one was actually released on November 15th, 2001, the same release day as the original Xbox, where NHL 2002 from EA Sports was released December 10th, 2001, almost a month later after the release of the console. And as a kid, I remember my stepbrother actually getting this console for Christmas, and I wondered why he got NHL Hits versus NHL 2002, and it's probably because when our parents went to buy him the console, they probably only saw one hockey game available at the time, which was NHL Hits, and decided to go with that one. And for myself as a spectator, that would be a life-changing moment. We're going to quickly watch the intro video for NHL Hits 2002.
Some better rhymes. We got the game set, so don't complain yet. 24/7, never begging for a rain check. Old school soldiers blasting out the hot shit. That rock shit, and bounce in the mosh pit. Hands up, now hands down. Back up, back up. Tell me what you gonna do now. Breathe in, now breathe out. Hands up, now hands down. Back up, back up. Tell me what you gonna do now.
To this day, I still think that this is the greatest hockey game intro ever. EA Sports definitely will never top that intro. And that was Limp Bizkit with Rollin'. Did you know that Ben Stiller was actually in their music video for that song?
Yo, Redcap. What up? Do me a favor. Watch it for me. Don't scratch it.
All right, we'll jump right into an exhibition game that I'll start up here with the Battle of Ontario with Toronto versus Ottawa. And, you know, I just want to quickly mention that I remember playing NHL Hits 2002 more than EA Sports NHL 2002. To this day, I still find this a very addictive style of gameplay. The 3-on-3 kind of action, very similar to World of Chel and the newer NHL games from EA Sports. It makes it a lot faster paced, but the turbo button in this makes your player skate super duper fast. This is a really fast paced game, and and it's all about hitting the heavy hits and the big shots. I find as far as gameplay goes for this, the passing works well. It just feels pretty smooth and really responsive. The shooting feels really responsive as well. It can be tough here and there, but at the end of the day, I find it very fun. For this video, I was actually capturing on my laptop, and I had to play using my laptop screen versus a big screen TV. It's hard playing NHL hits on a smaller screen. Sometimes they just look like blurs on the screen, and it looks even more fast-paced than say a bigger TV. So I definitely recommend playing NHL hits on a regular television set. But hands down, this game is still fun to play, even in 2021. If you have a few friends over, great party game. Has it aged? Yes, but it's still fun. And it's always entertaining. Body checking someone so hard that they go right through the glass. And as you see there, Sundin getting a quick goal. The face-off scenarios are pretty funny, though. It's almost like it's a rock, paper, scissors sort of thing. And you can see that Sundin for the Leafs here, he's starting to smoke up. So I believe once he gets 3 goals, a hat trick, he'll light on fire. So we'll just see if we can get that by the end of the period. I don't think I end up getting the hat trick for him by the end of the period, but I remember someone does light on fire in this game. I'm going to skip ahead here quickly to a fight that happened near the end of the first period. And the fighting is it's really funny. It's great. Punch for punch, you feel it with every button press. I was always entertained as a kid that the final knockout punch, the guy just spun and fell to the ice. To this day, that's just, it gets to me every time. We'll quickly skip ahead here to the third period, and you can see before each period start, you can pick which players you want to play for that entire period. Unless they get into a fight, then they get knocked out and a replacement comes in. It's not the full team roster, but it just seems to be their top, I believe, 9 guys that are on the team. And we'll quickly just watch this goal that Sundin gets, and you'll see here he'll take the face off, and he's on fire now. I guess what the fire does, it makes your guy skate a little bit faster and shoot a little bit harder as well. That's just what I remember from playing as a kid. And we'll skip ahead to the end of the game here, where I end up winning the game 7-4. We'll quickly take a look at a few mini games within the game and entering in some cheat codes, or I don't even know if they call them cheat codes. I mean, the crowd gives out hints, but we'll take a look at a few funny things in the game as well. Another cool thing that this game does is they have a little trivia question at the end of each game, and let's see if I can get this one right. And I do. There's not too many games that do this. I know that the NBA 2K series does trivia online at 9 p.m. every night, but other than that, it's one of those kind of forgotten little mini games within the game. And personally, I like this sort of thing. I think that EA Sports needs to really step their game up when it comes to these sort of things. And as you can kind of see here, this is my created team for franchise mode for NHL Hits 2002. In a nutshell, the franchise mode, you play 50 games and try to make your way to win the Midway Cup. It's pretty fun, but I think they revamped it in NHL Hits 2003, and it seems to flow a lot better. The customization stuff that you would get for your team is nowhere close to what a new game would be like. But I mean, at the time, it was really ahead of its time, and for me as a kid, it was addictive to play. And just taking a little bit of a deeper look into the franchise, I mean, I named it Noodles, and that's the name of the team, and you can pick the different name, their stadium, their default logos that they have. And one cool thing is the hotspot, and if your player shoots from the hotspot, their shot is on fire, and it has a higher chance of going in, so I put mine by the hash marks. You can trade your players for a current NHL player, if you like, and then you can just edit the players' names and all that sort of fun stuff. And then the hockey shop is pretty cool. It gives you the chance to unlock jerseys, different stadiums, and character heads. and pre-made teams as well. I think the stadiums really, they went into a lot of depth with. I remember that as a kid the most, just the different kind of themed stadiums that they had in the game. And at the time, I thought there was a lot of detail that went into the stadiums, and it really looked good. This was a good-looking game at the time. The next thing we'll look at is the skills selection, and you can kind of see the different options where you can kind of practice various skills throughout NHL Hits 2002. So just go into this first one here, the power shot. And the objective is to break these boxes, the 4 of them here. So pretty straightforward in my opinion. So we'll see if we can do it here. And just boom, boom. Kind of boring, not going to lie. To me at least. Kind of cool at the same time. Not bad graphics at the time as well. And I set a new record. Yippee. Rob Blake from Simcoe, Ontario. All right, and it gives me a check mark for doing that. So we'll try the keep away. So I got to spin through each of these boards here and break them. And then once I spin through the last one, take a shot. So let's see if I can do this here. I hate going down. But let's see. Boom, get the first one. And I completely missed the second one. I came and, oh my God, I have to go back. And let's get it. There we go. Got it. And I can't go through it backwards. So we'll go through this way and kind of do a point blank slap shot. All right, enough of this. One thing that they actually put in this game is a small 4.5-minute video of all the producers and game designers just kind of having a video showing themselves the creation of NHL Hits 2002. Not too many video games do this these days. I know that NHL Hits 2003 also had a very similar video. They even had one with Chris Pronger. But yeah, this sort of thing is, to me, it's nostalgic, and I don't see it too often these days. So it's really cool to see this sort of thing. But we'll just kind of speed through it here. And we'll quickly look at the codes that you're able to enter in before the start of each game. So the first one here, the giant tennis ball dropping down, you just play with that instead of a puck. Second one is snow overlay, kind of boring. Third one here is the big hits. Every hit is a big hit, kind of funny. Then I put a pinball one here, and it bounces off the boards like a pinball. It's kind of crazy. And there's a lot more than that, quite a bit actually. NHL Hits 2002 is super fun. But we're going to jump over here to EA Sports NHL 2002. And it's been a long time since I've really played this one. And like I've mentioned before, I never really went into too much depth with this game. Never owned it at all. So to me, it is a little bit, I guess you could say, new. But we'll just take a look here at the quick intro video. Graphically, the game kind of looks cheesy. I don't think it looks as good as Hits. Kind of surprising, but and you get that Dolby Digital sound logo down in the corner, and I mean, just kind of going through the game modes here, taking a look. They got the seasons, playoffs, a tournament, and a shootout. Very stripped down compared to today's games. And I guess I have to create a profile here to get some hockey cards. So this is kind of the early stages, I guess you can say, for HUT for the newer NHL games, but not quite. I guess the more stuff you do in the game, the more hockey cards you unlock and Easter eggs and all that sort of stuff. And then you have some task lists here, so like just getting completing 10 passes in a period. And then here's some different celebrations for each button after each goal. Easter eggs here, you can just see they're kind of blanked out, so the more you play, I guess they eventually become unlocked. And there's really only 7 songs in the game menu itself, and you can hear treble charger there. A great band from Sault Ste. Marie. And just kind of, I guess this is in beginner mode. So kind of, I'm going to do the Battle of Ontario here for this game. I always forget that back when I was a kid, white jerseys were the home jerseys, and eventually they just kind of switched that. I forget which year the NHL decided to change that, but kind of weird seeing that. That's a kind of a cool shot there of the Air Canada Centre. We'll wait for the game here to load. And I guess because the game is in beginner mode, you're going to hear this guy come out of nowhere and just say that, hey, I'm going to help you try and play the game. Really, I don't need any help, thank you. We're just here to get some gameplay. Jim Hewson is actually one of the commentators in the game, and he actually recently retired earlier this year after being a broadcaster, mostly for CBC and Sportsnet. You know, we're just kind of getting a cool intro here with the Bare Naked Ladies playing in the background. This song kind of feels out of place for an NHL song, but I mean, great band at the end of the day. And if you didn't know, they actually wrote the theme song for The Big Bang Theory. And you can actually hear one of their other songs, If I Had $1 Million, play in between plays. I used to hear that song a lot on the radio when I was a kid. So I kind of skipped ahead here to the first great shot that I had, and winds up, just rings it off the post. Kind of a tingy noise, just hearing it ring off the post there. And really, I'm just still trying to figure out how to score again in this game. I'm just going to skip ahead here to the first goal that I get. And in the background, you can hear If I Had $1 Million playing. Kind of funny, and it, I don't know, makes it, kind of gives you that feeling like you're actually at the game. So the presentation level for this is actually pretty good, I think. Is it a little bit dragged out? Yeah, I would feel like it. I mean, I'm a button masher that likes to skip all these sort of scenes and get to the next play. I'm all about the gameplay, not too much about the presentation. But I mean, it's still nice to have. First goal right here, coming from Ty Domi. That's great. Crowd is loving it. And it doesn't stop there. Mike Fisher. All right, and let's see. Erickson brings it up here. I think I just dig a clapper or something. No, just a simple wrist shot, and it goes in. That's great. I figured out how to score again. Again, it is in beginner mode, so it's kind of easy to score. And let's see, Nick Antropov up to Corson. Just a wind-up slap shot. Get it in. So that's the 3 goals so far of the first period. We'll skip ahead here to the second period as I'm trying to get the hitting down a little bit. And currently up 8-1. And big hit here.
He's a skateaway train. Someone called John Voight. McGillney.
Hey, listen. Can I ask you something? Listen. Wait.
And the end of the game, bit of a landslide. I end up winning 16-2. Again, beginner mode, so I figured out how to score, and I didn't really stop there. And I decided to play one more game, but I increased the difficulty to medium. And let me tell you, it was really hard. I end up getting dummied a little bit, but there's a few problems that I ran into, and mostly is the player selection. The game really never let me select the player that I wanted. So if there was a 2-on-1 coming down on my net, and there's one defender, I mean, I would want to select that defender, but instead it would select someone that's in the neutral zone, and then by the time I select the guy, then he's out of position, and then they score. Very frustrating, and I find the passing was a little bit broken and not as precise as NHL hits. And it's kind of funny because the changing of players and the passing has always been a problem in EA Sports NHL games. Even the most newest one, NHL 22, I find that there's a lot of problems with switching players and passing in that game. So I don't know why EA has never fixed this problem, but anyways, that's just my own personal opinion on that. I do end up getting one goal in this game, a one-timer. There's my one and only goal. Then anytime I pass, it just seemed like Detroit was on me, and they just were hitting me and everything, and it's like they were mind reading everything that I was doing. My players did not play positionally well at all. I don't think that increasing the difficulty should make your team play like a sack of potatoes, because that's not really, I don't think, in my opinion, that's not fair. And we'll skip ahead here to the third period of the game, where I'm down 4-1 against Detroit. I only have really 13 shots on net. I can't get anything going. It's frustrating. So let's try and end my frustration by getting into a fight. When the fight starts, I'll just let you watch it. It's garbage. The fighting is awful in this game in comparison to NHL Hits 2002, where, like I was saying, hit for hit felt right with every button press. In NHL 2002 from EA Sports, it just, I don't know what to call that kind of fight. Anyways, end up losing 4-1. Really don't care too much. Don't care for the 3 stars or anything like that, so we'll just kind of quit the match. I don't really feel like starting a whole season mode or a run for the cup or anything like that, but really there's not too many other game modes in this, and it doesn't feel like it's as in depth as NHL Hits 2002. Directly comparing the games to each other, I do like NHL Hits 2002 a lot more than this game. It's a lot more entertaining. The controls feel a lot better, and graphically it looks a lot nicer as well. I think you get more bang for your buck in that game versus this one. It's a real shame that they stopped making the Hits series. And Black Box Games, the designers of the NHL Hits series, ended up being acquired, or merging, I guess, with EA in 2009, and then EA decided just to close them. Really sad end to that. This sort of thing just kind of reminds us that it would be nice to have a little bit of competition for sports games, and give EA a little bit of a run for their money. Doing the same game every year, it gets a little bit stale. Anyways, thank you for watching. That last 20 years sure went by pretty quickly. Hopefully the next 20 years goes by very slowly, because I am feeling very old. If you liked the video, then why not throw me a like, and also hit that subscribe button. And don't be afraid to comment as well. I always like to hear other people's thoughts.